The city of Erie's east side has long faced challenges. They've included crime, poverty, and homelessness. Reporter Nicole Lee is standing by at Joanna Connell Elementary School on East 38th Street. Nicole, on the campaign trail today, all of the city's mayoral candidates have promised to improve conditions in what has been described as historically neglected neighborhoods. Did voters on the east side make it out to get their voices heard today?
Actually, Sean, there was very low turnout here today. You see behind me, there's about 12 people from various candidates, and they're trying to influence voters one last time with these political signs that you see them holding. But when we went inside, there were actually very few voters to influence. In fact, we spoke to the judge of election who says today's extremely low turnout is in contrast to the November election when lines were out the door all day.
So that's pretty sad.
Yeah. So how does this compare to past primaries?
Well, it depends on what the primary is, but this seems to be the worst.
Of course, turnout has picked up a little since people have been coming out from work, and there are a few more hours to vote, so we encourage people to get out there. We will speak to one voter who did exercise her right to vote today in our 5:30 report. Reporting live from Erie's east side, Nicole Lee, Jet 24 Action News. Back to you.
Yeah, no doubt hoping for that dinner time bump. Polls open till 8 o'clock. And for all your primary election coverage, you can turn to your local election headquarters on air and online at yourerie.com.
Good evening. The city of Erie's east side has long faced challenges, including high crime, poverty, and homelessness.
On the campaign trail, all of the city's mayoral candidates have promised to improve conditions in what have been described as historically neglected neighborhoods. But did voters on the east side come out to make sure their voices were heard? Jet 24 Action News is your local election headquarters. Nicole Lee is at a polling station on the city's east side right now. Nicole.
Actually, the voter turnout is still very low. You mentioned that dinner hour earlier when we spoke, and a few more people have come out, but those few definitely are not making up for what's been very low turnout we hear all day long here on the east side. In fact, we spoke to the judge of elections who's been doing this for 12 years, and she says this is actually the lowest primary turnout she's seen. We did speak to one voter who said she thinks voters are fatigued by politics as usual.
I'm a teacher for the Erie School District, so making sure we have a great education system and support our educators is very important to me, and making sure that everybody has equal rights and everybody's voice is heard.
So there are a few more hours to get out to vote, so we hope you do that. And as you can tell, the candidates do have their supporters. They're out here for the long haul with their signs, trying to influence any voter that goes through those doors. Reporting live from Erie's east side, Nicole Lee, Jet 24 Action News. Back to you, Sean.
Boy, and especially with the low turnout you're describing, every vote counts. Nicole, we'll check back in with you at 6 o'clock. The city of Erie's east side has long faced challenges. They've included crime, poverty, even homelessness. Reporter Nicole Lee is standing by at Joanna Connell Elementary School on East 38th Street in Erie. And Nicole, on the campaign trail, all of the mayoral candidates have promised to improve conditions in what have been described as historically neglected neighborhoods. So did that excite enough voters to get them out?
Unfortunately, no, Sean. The turnout here has been extremely low, we're told, all day long. You see behind me, there's about 12 people holding signs for different political candidates, and obviously they're trying to influence right up to the very last moment, but there have been very few voters to actually influence. They're starting to trickle in now a little bit more than when we were here at 4 o'clock, but still just or two at a time. The judge of elections says this is actually the slowest primary day that she's had in her 12 years working. It's in stark contrast to the November election when there were lines out the door.
So that's pretty sad.
Yeah. So how does this compare to past primaries?
Well, it depends on what the primary is, but this seems to be the worst.
So like we said, very low turnout here today, but the polls are still open for a few hours, so obviously every vote counts. So get out there and cast your vote. Reporting live from the east side of the city of Nicole Lee, Jet 24 Action News.
All right, thank you, Nicole, for all your primary election coverage. You can always turn to your local election headquarters, and that includes results tonight at yourerie.com.